Hello, Year 5. Welcome to Monday afternoon's history lesson. This one is going to be a little bit different for you. So, it might be that you can't do this today because you will need some things. It might be that you choose not to do this activity, in which case that's absolutely fine. There is a video of what we are doing as part of the lesson, so you will still see it. You might also need some parental guidance for some of this. This is what we would have been doing in school, which is why I'm still setting this, but it is a tad unusual. So let me first share my screen and let us remind ourselves of some bits and pieces. So first of all, here is your timeline of key ancient Egyptian events. Pause there, have a browse through them, have a look at what those events were. If there's any words in there that you're not sure of, then please do feel free to ask about those. They might be names, they might be keywords. And here are your keywords for today and for Thursday as well. Mummify, which means to preserve a body by embalming it and wrapping it in cloth. And embalming, which means to preserve something from rotting by using spices. That is what we are focusing on this week, everybody. Everybody's favourite thing about the ancient Egyptians, mummies. So let's have a look at some previous learning first of all. So from our last topic, can you briefly describe the water cycle for me? You might want to use a diagram if you'd like to. Previous learning, which country did the Romans come from? A little bit of a trick question. You might know where they came from, but is that country? And from last lesson, how many seasons were there in ancient Egypt? Pause this, go on to Teams and have a look at the scaffold for that, and have a go at answering those questions. Okay, so let's have a look. Here is a picture of the water cycle. Hopefully you got the idea that it ends up in the sea, then is evaporated, and then forms clouds when it condenses. And then as the clouds get heavier and find themselves in higher pressure situations, then they rain onto mountains, and then through various routes, it ends up back in the sea or large lakes where the cycle starts again. The Romans came from Italy because they came from Rome, and Rome is a city within Italy. So if you said Rome, you're sort of right, not quite. And how many seasons were there in ancient Egypt? There were 3, also known as Akhet, Kadet, and Shimu. Well done if you managed to get what they were called as well. I know that one was known as the Age of Inundation, not the Age of Inundation, sorry, the Season of Inundation, but I can't remember all of them. Okay, on to today's task. So we are looking at mummies this week and why they were so important in ancient Egypt and why they're so iconic. On Thursday, we're going to be having a little look at why ancient Egyptians used to mummify people, and not just people. And we're going to write a set of instructions for how you could go about doing it. But today, you are going to have a go at mummifying an orange. So I found online something that gives you the process. Obviously, we're not going to do it to a person, but this video and then the instructions on the next few slides do give you the instructions for how you can pretty much recreate the process using an orange. I think I did say it for a banana as well, but orange seems to be the more likely one. So you will need a few bits and pieces for this. If you can't do it today, or if you can't do it at all, that's absolutely fine. I completely understand that this is not something that everyone will want to do or have time to do or have the facilities to do. And if you can't do it, that's okay. If you watch the video, then you will at least get an idea, because we're going to be taking some of this information into Thursday when we write a set of instructions about how to mummify someone. But if you can do it, then please, by all means, have a go. Share what you find with me. There's not a written activity as such for this one, but if you want to, please do still click in return so that I know that you've had a look at the lesson. And let's have a look. Oh, did I share my sound on here? Share sound. Yep, there we go. Okay, so this is the video of how to turn an orange into a mummy. If you're not going to carry out the sort of experiment, then make sure that you watch this. If you are, I would still watch this so that you know what it's meant to look like, and then follow the instructions on the next few slides.
So you first want to make a cut.
Yeah.
Do you want to move over, because I'm going to get splashed?
An ancient Egyptian embalmer would cut the...
obviously, if you are making a cut with with a knife, then please be very, very careful.
Side of the body.
Right.
Then they would remove the internal organs, as you're doing now.
Why?
Because they want to dry out the chest cavity. So you
Right.
remove all the juicy bits inside.
Well, what was the
Everything
reason for
apart from the
removing the
heart.
juicy bits? Why did they take all the bits out of the body for them?
Because you want to dry the whole body, and you hope that in the afterlife, by magic, you'll be put back together again. So it doesn't matter that you're losing your
So it was
organs.
a belief. They were saying that they were transported into the next life, and then when they got there,
Exactly.
they would take these jars and put the organs back in again.
Exactly. So now you've scooped out the inside.
So this is basically replicating a body that's been emptied
Yes.
of all its organs apart from
Exactly.
the heart.
But apart from the heart, you need your heart for the judgment in the
Okay,
afterlife.
so what would we do next? What would the
We
embalmer do?
want to sterilise the body. So the Egyptians would use oils or wines. So we're going to use some vinegar.
Okay.
So splash a bit on, wipe it around the edge, inside as well. And it starts to smell a bit funny, doesn't it?
It does smell
This
a
was
little
a
bit, yeah.
smelly process, and the ancient Egyptians would do it in a tent
Right.
because
All
it allows
ancient-
airflow.
But all of the ancient Egyptians, or just the ones that had the money to do it?
The rich ones, good point.
Right.
It was only the rich in ancient Egypt that could afford this expensive process. It smells lovely. So now you want to improve its smell a bit more, so you want to put some spice in there.
Yeah.
Have we got
Right,
it?
so you put some spice
Spice
in.
in and round, and then you start to put in a mixture of salt and bicarbonate of soda, which the ancient Egyptians called natron.
So what we've done with this one is we've filled it with salt and bicarbonate of soda.
Mm-hmm.
It dries it out. It makes the body, the orange in this case, take its shape.
Exactly, lifelike shape.
Okay, so
And then you close it up a bit.
yes.
And then you want to wrap it up
So
with
this comes
bandages
down
made of linen.
Was it just the Egyptians that did this?
Mummification is known all around the world, but it was the ancient Egyptians that really practiced artificial mummification, and they really got it in many cases spot on, so bodies are well preserved.
Yeah.
As you saw at Manchester Museum, very well preserved
They are
today.
fantastically well preserved. I couldn't believe when we saw Azru and she still had skin.
Yep.
2,500 years later, she still had skin.
Exactly.
So they really mastered this, didn't they? Now, obviously, we are mummifying an orange here, so
Yes.
I've wrapped it in a bandage that we've coated in glue.
Yes.
It's PVA glue, but it's 80% glue, 20% water to make it
Right.
nice and runny. So I'm going to keep wrapping this.
So once you wrap the entire orange and you let it dry in an airing cupboard or somewhere warm and dry for a month or so, this one I've prepared earlier
2,000 years ago.
has dried out. It's been a few months old, and if you rattle it, you can hear that.
Let me do it on the microphone so you can hear it at home.
How long will it take to mummify?
It'll take, in ancient Egypt, it took 70 days, the whole process.
Wow.
But if you leave that in your airing cupboard for 2 or 3 months, you'll get a dry orange that will last for eternity.
That's amazing. So you could keep that till you're a grandparent yourself.
Yes, exactly.
So there is, I don't know why you would want to keep it for your grandparent or yourself, but there is a video showing how you can do it. And then I'll give you the set of instructions now. They are also as a document on Teams as well. So if you want to have a go at mummifying an orange, these are the things that you will need. Lots of these you will already have access to. Some of them you may need to go out and get. Some of them you might just not have enough of them. And then I'll rattle through the instructions here, because they are all on Teams as well. If you do have a go at this, please do let me know how it turns out. I know that it's meant to wait a little while before you actually see the impact, but even if you just keep it for a week or so, or even if you just do the process, it'll be a really good way of you starting to understand what happened in ancient Egyptians when they were mummifying things. So there you go. That is your slightly peculiar history lesson for today. And then on Thursday, what we're going to do is we're going to apply all of this to some writing, where you're going to write a set of instructions about how to mummify a body. Again, if you can't do this, please don't worry too much. I understand that that's a lot to try and get done at home, and it is a bit different and it's a bit louder than normal. But if you do have a spare moment and want to have a go at it, please do send me pictures of what your end result is.